Hey guys, what is up? It is Dangeles, and welcome back to part number 2 of the Brick Mansion Let's Build. Guys, in part 1, we made some good progress to start things off. We got the entire front of the house worked on and completed, looking pretty good. So today's video is going to be focused on getting some of the outer walls put in, and we'll just see how much progress we make. But I want to start on the left side, and I'm just going to start putting in the dimensions of the walls and filling them in and stuff like that. So we'll see how much progress we get done in this video, but we can't really have any progress unless we get started. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into it. What I'm going to do to start things off is take out a brick line of 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm actually going to lower this down to the same level as the bottom of the stone bricks here. And the reason why I'm going to be doing that is so it lines up with where the grass is going to come in later when we do the terraform. So we got our 5 blocks right here. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and take these all the way up the 13 blocks pretty much that we've been doing throughout the entire first episode. So thank you guys very much for watching the first episode, and hopefully you're following along on the builds, and we're ready to continue to work on it. So now that we have this first wall put in, I'm actually just going to make a little turn here. So basically it's just going to be a little right angle in this corner, and we're going to take out another wall of bricks, and we're going to make this one 6 blocks of bricks and 1 block of pillared quartz. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we're going to go ahead and put a pillared quartz like that. And then of course all the grass will get filled in a little bit. I'll probably end up doing that today just so we can get an idea of what it's going to look like. But taking this all the way up as well to the same line that we've been doing, we're going to take this up however many blocks it is. I think it's like 15 from the ground, but it's 13 from the top of the porch. So whatever you want to call it. As long as everything's lined up with the previous wall, you should be good. So we'll just get this filled in. And this wall here that I'm building right now is actually going to have some windows on it. So we'll add those in just a second. But if we back up here, this is what it's looking like. Looking pretty good. And then of course what I want to do is continue to bring this line of upside down and quartz stairs going around the corner here, and then I'm going to do the full quartz blocks on top of that exactly the same way that we did it in the front. And then we're also going to do the alternating stairs as well. One key thing that you want to do for this is make sure that the corner blocks are always stairs. So for example, these 2 blocks are always going to be stairs, even if it's not lined up. For this particular case, it is lined up, which is good, but there might be other cases later on in this let's build where it might not be, but I'll make sure to note those when we get there. And then of course every other block is going to be some slabs, and it's going to look just like that. Looking pretty good. Just to keep in mind that this corner block here, you can turn it either way you want. You can put it whoops, I just broke that back block. You can put it this way, you can put it that way. It doesn't really matter. But just, let that be known that it should be like that. Alright guys, so the next thing I'm going to do is put in these windows. So I'm going to start actually from the top here. And 1 block away from the pillared quartz, I'm going to break 4 blocks of bricks. And then jump 2 more blocks and break 4 more. And I'm going to replace those spots with pillared quartz, just like that. And then in between those, we're just going to break this whole thing open. And this is going to be the window. Right below the stairs here, below those bricks, I'm going to place a couple of upside down slabs. And then on top of these bricks, again, some more upside down slabs. And then below those slabs, we're going to place some upside down quartz stairs. And we have our window lining just like that. And if you did this right, it should line up with the windows on the second level. And then we're also going to line up windows down here as well. Keep in mind that on this window, there are some upside down stairs above the slabs. On this side, that would get covered up because of the ceiling, or because of the roof, I should say. And you don't have to worry about that. That is perfectly fine. So I'm going to drop down 1 block here, and I'm going to place some upside down stairs. And then I'm going to break 4 blocks right here on each side of that frame. And we're going to do the exact same window design that we've been doing. It's pretty much going to be the same windows throughout the entire house. So after, we do several of these, it's going to be pretty much, a no-brainer to build this. So and if you did it right, it should line up with this window. So like, just take your cursor from that slab and just bring it across and make sure it's lined up with that slab, and you'll be good. And then we're going to add our 2x4 of black stained glass on the inside of the frame. Just put them up against the slabs and you'll be good to go. So that's how it's looking right there. That's kind of how it's going to look on the side, and we're going to add some more detail to that later. I'm going to put some vines, well, They're going to put some bushes that are going to be, set to be vines, but we'll add that a little bit later on. It's kind of some moss on the side of the house, but let's go ahead and continue. The next thing I'm going to do is make a wall of 21 blocks going all the way across. So this includes the pillared quartz. So I'm going to do 19 blocks of bricks and then 2 pillared quartz, which makes 21. And I'm going to go ahead and count that off right now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then we're going to go ahead and add our 21st block on the end, which is going to be some pillared quartz. So I'm going to take this all the way up. I'm going to have the line go across. So the thing about this wall is I chose to make it mostly brick. You can add more windows to this wall if you'd like. I decided to leave it mostly brick. Not really for any particular reason. It doesn't affect the floor plan really. You could add more windows if you want. I'll give you some pointers on that in just a second, but I'm going to get the whole wall filled in here. I'll show you guys where I add the windows, and then I'll show you where you can add the windows if you choose, because this is up to you. It's your build now, so and you can do what you want with it. So I'll give you guys some different options, but let me get this wall filled in. Nice, just big wall of bricks. Nothing too fancy about it. We're not even going to add any like bushes on this anyway, so it's going to be pretty much just like a flat wall on the side of the house, which is fine. I think it looks pretty good, so that's what matters. All right, so we're going to get this filled in, and it's done. All right, and now I'm going to continue the roof design before we get into anything else. So again, just follow the pattern. It's all set up for you at this point. You're just going to have to follow it around. It's really, once you get kind of the whole idea of the house figured out, it's really not a hard house to build at all. It might look a little bit more complicated than it is, but I'm telling you, it's doable in survival. I mean, I built it in survival, so I can tell you for a fact that it's doable. So just to keep in mind, if you did this correctly, if it's lined up properly, this end should be stair, and this end should be stair as well if you're alternating blocks. And if it's not like that, then it's either an even number or you miscounted or something, so just keep that in mind. And then, of course, it's going to turn around this corner as well, and it's going to follow this pattern throughout the entire roof. So you can keep these corner blocks open, or you can put a slab there. I prefer to keep them open, but it's up to you. All right, so now that we have this full wall here, it's just like this flat wall, nothing really going on. Now we're going to go ahead and add some windows to this. So I'm actually going to keep all the windows lined up. So basically, I'm just going to follow my cursor across this block here, just so I know exactly where to place it. So I'm going to do it right here. So I'm going to come 2 blocks away from the corner, place some upside down quartz stairs, break the 8 blocks above that, and then break the 4 blocks on the side and replace them with the pillared quartz. Same window design. I sound like a broken record, but it's true. And we're going to go ahead and do some more upside down stairs. They're always going to be upside down stairs, by the way, on top and bottom. So just keep that in mind. And then we're going to add our 8 glass blocks as well. And we have our first set of windows. So again, just double check to make sure that it's lined up properly. So just slide your cursor across. And again, it should be 1 block away from the corner. So there should be 1 block of brick lining here in between these 2 pillared quartz. So next window is just going to be 1 block up from that. And again, the exact same thing we've been doing. It's pretty self-explanatory at this point. I've already showed you guys how to do this probably like 8 times, so should be able to just kind of do it on your own at this point. So we'll just get it filled in. No real explanation needed. Take these slabs and put them in, and then again with the glass. So I said this last episode, but I'll reiterate again. Even though the glass is sticking out of the wall right now, it's going to be a double stacked wall, so it will end up looking just fine. Just keep that in mind. I mean, we kind of tutored that a little bit here in the first episode, just kind of a little example, but we'll get into more detail with that later on. But now that we have 2 more walls put in here on the house, we're looking pretty good. I'm going to work on the roof for a little bit, but before I do that, I'm actually going to grab some leaves. I'm going to just use oak leaves, but you can use whatever's available to you if you're building in survival. Obviously, everything's available in creative mode. And I'm going to come back over to this wall, and I'm just going to start to put in just kind of like a random assortment of leaves. It doesn't have to be anything specific. I'm just going to, put something in and see if I like it or not. Again, you can do whatever you want with this. It's just kind of just a random pattern, just so it looks kind of like moss growing on the side of the house. I think this is one of the better features of the house. So I'd highly recommend doing this, even if you're building in survival. It's really not that bad. Just get some shears. Pretty easy, but something like that, right? And we'll be doing that throughout pretty much the whole house. So we will be revisiting that later on. But Next thing I'm going to do is work on the roof. There's not going to be any moss on this side of the house. We'll just leave that flat. That's pretty much ready to go. And again, I'm going to work on the roof. So basically, this part of the roof is a lot easier than the one we did last episode, because instead of doing the stair slab combo, we're just going to be doing all slabs. So all you got to do is just follow the pattern all the way around like this, and you can take this out a certain amount of blocks. I wouldn't go any further than like the other side for now, because we don't know exactly how far this wall is going to be coming out just yet, but I'll get to that later on in this video. But again, you just want to continue to follow the pattern that you've set up for yourself. Once again, like basically just like the bottom part, the slab part of the roof, or the quartz part of the roof, I should say. Once you get that pattern started, you just follow it. It's really easy. Nothing too crazy about it at all. That's, really what I like to do with houses. You make it look more complicated than it really is, right? It's a pretty simple build, honestly. Once you get the patterns put into place, it's pretty much just, copy and paste. So it should be pretty easy to follow this. And what I'm going to do right now is just continue this slab lining until I find a peak in the middle. So just going to keep following it around. Not really sure how many levels this goes. My whole goal for this when I was building the roof, because I had to do it a couple of times to get it right when I first built it, was making sure that the top part of the roof over there was the tallest part. It can be difficult sometimes when you're building a big house to keep the roof proportional. The bigger the house is, the more difficult it is to build a proportional roof in Minecraft, because the steepness of stairs is too much, and then the steepness of slabs how should I say this? The incline on stairs is too steep, and the incline on slabs is not steep enough. So there needs to be like a middle ground there. So that's why like the stair slab combo works pretty good on certain roofs, and that's why we used it last episode. So I'm just rambling at this point, but all you gotta do is just follow the pattern until we hit a point in the middle where it connects. And also, if you do this correctly, once it connects in the middle, it will be one block in the middle instead of two, because we always work with odd numbers on houses. And this is something I'd recommend. This is like a rule of thumb for pretty much any house you build. Always work with odd numbers on roofs, because it's just going to make it look a lot better. Even numbers don't really turn out that great, at least in my experience. So I always try to work with odd numbers. So like I said, all those walls that I did earlier were 5 blocks. They were 7 blocks, 21 blocks, all odd numbers. And it's definitely a good way to do it. So I'd recommend just keeping all your builds to odd numbers when you're doing the roofs, when you're doing the walls. It'll help you out a lot. And it'll also make the doors, when you're lining up the doors in the middle of a wall, it'll make them just one single door, which looks, I think, a lot better than double doors. But it really just depends on what you like, honestly. But we're almost to the middle here. Just have a little bit more to go. Pretty much just one more level, actually. So as you can see, we've come to a point where there's just one more level here, and it is going to be a slab lining. So this is good. And it was tricky, like I said, to make sure that I kept it to, I kept this wall short enough to where the peak of the part there, this part of the roof is lower than this part. So that was something that was a little bit difficult, but it is lower just barely, and we are looking good. So we have this part of the roof put in, looking good. So now let's go ahead and move on over to this part of the house, and we'll start to put in these walls. Alright guys, so this first wall right here is actually going to be the exact same distance as the one straight across, so just make them parallel. This is going to go out 6 blocks, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it should line up if you just kind of walk across. It should line up with this block right here. So you want to do that, and then of course it's going to turn and then go back this way, but we will get to that later. Let's just work on this wall first. So we're going to get this filled in. It's going to be pretty much a carbon copy, the exact same style of wall as the other side. So just get a perimeter of bricks put in. I might even just jump right into the windows here. So windows, like every other window, make sure they're lined up with the other ones in terms of their level, because you don't want unproportional windows that aren't lined up. Then it's just going to look really bad. So just keep that in mind. Make sure all the windows are lined up before you start putting them in, especially in survival, because you really only have one shot at it unless you have to break all the blocks, which is really annoying. And trust me, I've had to do that plenty on this build, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so we're going to get these stairs across, and then get the pillared quartz going all the way up, 4 blocks, a couple of slabs on top and on bottom, and finally our last set of black stained glass. And now the next thing we got to do is just simply take the quartz stairs across, the full quartz blocks on top of that, and then the quartz stairs every other block going to the corner. So on this particular side of the house, it's actually going to be a slab in the corner. Just keep that in mind. So it's totally fine. All right, so it's going to look like that. Pretty good. I like it. And then we're going to add some bushes to this in a second. All right, guys, real quick, something that just occurred to me. I just said a second ago that this corner here should be a slab. That's actually incorrect because I forgot to account for the fact that this is going to turn. So basically you want to turn these stairs here on this corner, and then this is going to be full blocks. So that corner should actually be a stair instead of a slab. Basically the exact same thing as we did on the other side. So essentially this wall is going to come up here and start to run across. So just want to make sure that I clear any confusion there. So should look like that, and we'll continue. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and start working on this next wall. This one's going to come out 17 blocks, so let me see how many I've already placed. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to add 7 more here. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The 17th block, however, should be pillared quartz, so just keep that in mind because it's going to be the corner of the house. Going to take this pillared quartz straight up to the point where it's going to be lined up with the stairs. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the bricks across. I'm just going to fill this in one more level. You don't need to do this, obviously, if you're playing in survival, but just so it's lined up and looking better and for creative mode. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. And then, of course, what we want to do is continue these stairs upside down, running straight across, and line them up with the pillared quartz. And then, of course, we have the full blocks on top of that. And then, next thing I'm going to do is just get this wall here filled in with some bricks. So I'm going to get this wall filled in, and then we're going to go ahead and add a few windows to this wall. We're also going to add a door because this is actually the area of the house where there's going to be a porch and a balcony. Well, actually not really a porch at all. It's just going to be a balcony, and there's going to be like a lower level to it that connects to the basement. So there's going to be kind of like an angled part of the hill when we do the terraforming later. And, you know, that's kind of like why we have the whole house floating right now. So it'll make more sense in terms of why the house is floating later on, but because we're going to be adding like a whole hill in this part. It'll look nice once we get to that point, but looking pretty good right now, so we can go ahead and continue with that. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is start to put in some windows and a couple of doors on this wall, but before I do any of that, of course, I'm going to continue the design that we've been doing on the roof. So I'm going to go ahead and do a slab next, stair combo, just do the stairs every other block, like that. And if you did this properly, the block that's lined up with the pillared quartz right here should be a slab. So make sure that that is correct. We'll take that across. And then, of course, we're going to have the roof continuing as well. So we can have the stone brick slabs running across there. And we'll continue that later on. But let's go ahead and get this wall put in now. So here is what I'm going to do with this. I'm actually going to come 1 block away from the corner here. And I want you to make sure that this door is lined up with the windows. So this is important because it's not going to be down here at the bottom. We're actually going to go up 2 blocks from this and break open 3 blocks right here. And then we're going to go ahead and do 3 more. So like basically a 5x3 opening in the wall right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and do 3 pillared quartz on this side, 3 on this side. And then we're going to do the upside down U of black glass. You might already recognize this. And then I'm going to take the 5 blocks on top of that and switch it into sideways pillared quartz. And then I'm going to do the 3 upside down stairs and then the 3 slabs curving around the corner of each side. And you might recognize this. This is the exact same design we've done for the front door of the house. So that's how it's supposed to be. And then what we're going to do is make sure that this is lined up with the front door. So I'm going to grab a spruce plank. This is kind of just a test to make sure everything's going okay. Grab a spruce plank, and I basically want to take it across here and make sure that this is on the same plane as the front door. So again, I'll take it across right here, and if it's lined up, then we are looking great. So look at that. It is lined up perfectly. That door and that door is on the same level, which is exactly what we want. So we're looking good on that front, so we can continue. And basically what I'm going to do is actually just punch open these 3 blocks and then start to fill this in with some spruce wood, because this is going to be this deck area that we're going to add. So you can start to just fill this in now because we're going to work on it anyway. So keep in mind, you can take the spruce wood blocks 2 blocks past this side of the house and start to run it across. I'll get the exact dimensions for that in a second, but just want to just say that you can start to fill this in. I'm not going to do it all the way, but we'll just get it started now. It's much better for us to actually do it like with the exact coordinates, so we will do that right now. But next thing I'm going to do is place a couple of brick blocks here on the corner right next to the pillared quartz, and then I'm going to actually place some pillared quartz here on the corner, and you can just make this straight up like that. And then what I'm going to do is actually continue this. Whoops, I didn't need to break that. I'm going to continue this lining of bricks straight down with the pillared quartz on the corner. And you can have this run all the way down to a certain point. It's going to go past this wall, but we're not ready to work on that just yet, so we'll revisit that later. But after you've done that, what you can do is actually go ahead and place a lining of stairs going around this corner here, and then just run this all the way down, and it should just continue, right? And you can do alternating stairs and slabs if you want to match the design on the roof, but I just went with all stairs, but it's really just pretty much up to you. So the next thing I'm going to do is just place a slab on top of that, and then pretty much the rest of this is just going to be upside down quartz stairs as the railing. So it's just going to basically continue all the way across here, and we'll kind of readjust that later, but that's how it's going to look. And then when you're underneath of here, what I'm going to do is actually place a brick lining from this block right here, so diagonal one block in from the pillared quartz, and then just basically take this right to the ground. So it should be 1 2 3 4 5 6 blocks tall right there, which is absolutely perfect. And then what I can do is actually take this pillared quartz right here and connect it to the ground as well. So we can just do that. And we'll be adding the rest of these bricks here later once we do the terraform, since you don't have to add the whole entire wall to the ground because it's not necessary. So just to recap, make sure that this is one block out, and then there's one block separating this pillared quartz and this bricks. So next thing I'm going to do is actually jump 5 blocks away from this bricks and go 1 2 3 4 5, place a block, and then run this and connect it all the way up to the top. Same exact thing, except we're going to do 6 this time. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Place a lining of bricks that's going to go all the way up and connect. And then another one, which is going to go 5 blocks. So 1 2 3 4 5, and bring it up right here and connect it. And then we can continue this down like that to that corner. Looking good. And just to recap, it should be 5 6 5, and there should be 4 total pillars there. So the next thing I'm going to do is take some quartz slabs. I'm actually going to go ahead and place one right here next to this brick, and then have it run across straight through here next to the bricks, going all the way across to the other side like that. And then this block right here on the corner, that is a pillared quartz. You can swap that out for a brick just so it's lined up nicely. And then over here on the corner, now that we have figured out exactly where it's going to turn, we can turn this around the corner here and then run these bricks right across. And I'm just going to stop it actually right up lined up with the pillared quartz right here, and we will work on that further later. Then you can turn the corner as well with the slabs and continue that down, or sorry, with the stairs and continue that down. And then I'm going to take a pillared quartz block and a slab just to kind of frame that corner. And you can continue the railing going around as well. And again, we'll connect that later. So that's how that is going to look. And also, again, you can continue the lining of quartz slabs as well and run that across. And then really the last thing you have to do here is just get the rest of this spruce wood filled in. So I'm just going to connect it down to here as well. But it's going to run around this corner, but we're going to work on that at the start of the next video. So let me just get that filled in. I think that's pretty much going to wrap up this episode of the Let's Build. Pretty good progress today. We've got like a whole side of the house worked on. So 2 episodes down, we have like almost half of the exterior worked on so far. So next episode, of course, you know, I'm going to continue it around this corner. We'll work on the back of the house a little bit. And hopefully it'll only take like 4 or 5 episodes to get the entire, you know, exterior build. But this corner here is looking good. What I'm going to do at the beginning of next episode is put in some windows on this part of the wall right here, add some more bushes, continue the roof, and then I'm going to do this side of the house, and then we'll see what we do after that. I'll probably work around this corner. But we have a good chunk of the build already put in after just 2 episodes, which is awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's been Dangeles, making good progress here on the Brick Mansion. Hopefully you guys are enjoying building it if you are following along. Or if you're just watching the Let's Build for fun, thank you for those of you who are doing that as well. Guys, give this video a like rating if you did enjoy it, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.